Silent Confessions, where desires whisper and secrets ignite. Welcome to Silent Confessions, the channel where secrets are whispered, desires are unspoken, and nothing is ever quite as it seems. Tonight we dive into a story of passion, betrayal, and the unexpected paths desire can take. A seemingly perfect marriage, a routine night, a single message that changes everything. What happens when a woman follows her instincts, stepping into a world she never imagined? And once she crosses that line, will she ever want to go back? Stay with us until the end, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's next. Her fingers brushed against mine, a slow, deliberate touch, light as silk yet charged with electricity. My husband's grip on my waist tightened, his breath shallow, uneven. The moments stretched between us, a delicate tension humming beneath my skin. Ahead of us, his boss, Matteo, walked with a knowing smirk, glancing back at me over his shoulder. He knew. Oh, he knew. The private room was just steps away, its golden light spilling into the dim hallway, mirrored walls reflecting quiet murmurs dissolving into something deeper. No more doubts, no more hesitation, just a single step before everything changed forever. His hands moved over me with practiced ease, his fingers brushing my bare arms before sliding lower, gripping my hips in a way that had once set my pulse racing. His body pressed against mine, firm, strong, commanding, yet there was something mechanical in his touch now. It was effortless, too effortless, like a routine we both knew by heart. I closed my eyes, letting the warmth of his skin seep into me, feeling the way his fingers tightened, his breath growing heavier, the familiar rhythm of his movement. He chased that inevitable release, and my body, trained by habit, responded as it always did. But something was missing. No whispered words, no lingering kisses, no desperation. Once, he had looked at me like I was his greatest desire, like he couldn't get enough. He used to tremble, used to devour me with his eyes before he even touched me. Now, it felt like just another part of his day, a duty, a task to complete before rolling over and falling asleep. And when it was over, that's exactly what he did. A breath, a quick kiss on my shoulder, then silence. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, my skin still tingling from the ghost of his touch, my body satisfied but my heart hollow. I wasn't unloved, but I wasn't needed either, and somehow that was worse. I turned my head, watching his profile in the dim glow of the bedside lamp. His face was calm, peaceful, as if he had nothing in the world to worry about. His breathing was steady, deep, relaxed. The complete opposite of the storm twisting inside me. The ache in my chest spread, unfurling like a slow poison, creeping into every thought, every doubt, every suspicion that had been growing inside me for months. We were young. We were supposed to still be wild for each other. And in some ways we were. We still touched. We still kissed. We still had nights tangled in each other's arms. But it was different. The urgency was gone. The need, the hunger, it had faded into something expected. I could feel it in the way he touched me, the way his fingers mapped my body as if following a script. Predictable, rehearsed. I told myself it was normal. That passion fades, that routine takes over, that love wasn't always about fire and frenzy. But deep down, I knew better. It was the little things. The way he worked late more often. The way his phone was always in his pocket, face down when he set it on the table. The way his lips brushed mine absent-mindedly, not like a man desperate to taste me, but like a man checking off a box. And then there were the scents, faint, lingering, unfamiliar. Not mine. Still, I had ignored it, made excuses, pretended, until that night. We were young. We were supposed to be wild for each other, and in some ways we still were. We still touched. We still kissed. We still had nights tangled in each other's arms. But something had shifted. It had crept in slowly. The way his hands felt familiar but not desperate. The way he kissed me like it was a habit. I told myself it was normal, that passion fades, that routine takes over. But deep down, I knew better. It was the little things. The way he worked late more often. The way his phone was always close. The subtle way he turned it over when I walked into the room. The scent of something unfamiliar lingering on his clothes. Something I couldn't quite place. I told myself I was imagining it, that I was being paranoid, reading too much into things that didn't matter. Then, late one night, his phone buzzed. He was asleep beside me, chest rising and falling in steady rhythm, completely unaware as I turned my head toward the glow of the screen. My eyes landed on the message. Looking forward to seeing you tonight. Same place, same rules. A slow chill crept down my spine. This wasn't paranoia, this wasn't in my head, and for the first time I had proof. I barely slept. The message haunted me, looping in my mind, each word twisting deeper. Same place, same rules. This wasn't innocent, it was a routine. His routine. By morning, I knew what I had to do. Confronting him was pointless. He'd lie, deflect, make excuses. I needed the truth. So when he left that evening, I followed. He drove with purpose, his route too precise for this to be the first time. My hands tightened around the wheel, my stomach churning with anticipation. Where was he taking me? Was I ready to face whatever truth waited at the end of this road? I watched as he turned down an unfamiliar street, his car moving through the dim glow of streetlights. The city felt different here, quieter, more private, as if it held secrets in its shadows. When he finally stopped, I parked at a distance, my fingers gripping the wheel as I took in the sleek, unmarked building before me. Dim lighting, tinted windows, a heavy set of doors. It wasn't a restaurant, it wasn't a hotel, and he walked in like he belonged there. My pulse pounded, my breath felt shallow. For a second, I hesitated. The weight of my decision pressed against my chest. If I stepped through those doors, there would be no turning back, but the need to know overpowered the fear. Before doubt could sink its claws into me, I pushed forward. The moment I stepped inside, I felt it. Something electric in the air, a charged tension, thick and intoxicating. Low music thrummed through the space, blending with murmured conversations and soft laughter. The lighting was warm, intimate, casting long shadows over plush seating and sleek decor. But it wasn't the atmosphere that made my stomach tighten. It was the people. They weren't just close, they were too close. Hands lingered on bare skin, teasing touches trailing up arms, skimming the edges of thighs. Lips brushed against ears, hushed words exchanged like promises dripping with desire. A woman leaned into a man's lap across the room, her dress slipping high on her thigh, her head tipping back in silent invitation as his hands disappeared beneath the fabric. Another couple vanished behind a velvet curtain, their laughter dissolving into hushed gasps, a moment stolen from the world just beyond. A group stood near the bar, eyes smoldering, bodies shifting together in an unmistakable dance of temptation. A man traced a single finger along the curve of a woman's spine, a slow, deliberate touch that sent a shiver down her back. Another woman exhaled a soft sigh as her partner's lips ghosted over the nape of her neck, the heat between them undeniable. Every glance, every movement was charged with unspoken invitation, a silent agreement to give in to the hunger that thickened the air. And then I saw him, at the bar, my husband, with her. She was laughing, leaning in close, her fingers grazing his arm in lazy circles. He wasn't pulling away, he wasn't stopping her. If anything, he looked comfortable, relaxed, like he belonged here, like this wasn't new. The sight of it sent a slow burn of something molten through me. Not just anger, not just betrayal, but something darker, something I wasn't ready to name. A sharp breath caught in my throat, my fingers curled at my side. I had followed him for answers, and now I had them. The proof was right in front of me. The way his body angled toward her, the way his hand hovered just near her waist, the way his lips parted slightly as she leaned closer. This wasn't just conversation. This was seduction. I took a step forward, the noise around me fading into a distant hum. My body moved before my mind caught up, a magnetic pull dragging me toward them. My heart pounded, my breath shallow. I opened my mouth, ready to say something, anything, when a voice stopped me cold. "Ah, finally, he brought you too." I turned sharply, my heart lurching. A man stood beside me, his expression unreadable, his lips curling in something that wasn't quite a smile. His gaze swept over me, slow, assessing, like he knew exactly why I was here. And I knew him, Mateo, my husband's boss. His presence was commanding, effortless, as though he owned this place, owned them. He wasn't surprised to see me. If anything, he looked pleased. He took a slow sip of his drink, his eyes never leaving mine. Took him long enough, he murmured, his voice a lazy drawl, thick with amusement. My breath hitched. My thoughts scrambled, tumbling over one another as I tried to process what was happening. Before I could react, Mateo placed a hand lightly on my back, the warmth of his touch sending a ripple of something unexpected through me. It wasn't comfort, it wasn't reassurance. It was something far more dangerous. A thrill. My anger twisted into something else entirely. Because if this was his secret, then maybe it should have been ours. I held my husband's gaze as I stepped closer, Mateo's touch still firm against my skin. The woman beside him blinked, her lips parting as if she were about to speak. But I got there first. So, I murmured, my voice barely more than a whisper as I trailed a single finger down my husband's chest, feeling the tension coiled beneath his shirt. Show me what secrets you were keeping. His throat bobbed, his grip tightened around his drink. He was caught. Yet there was no guilt in his eyes, no excuses forming on his lips, just hesitation. Like he wasn't sure whether to explain himself or surrender. And surrender, I realized, was exactly what I wanted him to do. Some lines shouldn't be crossed, or should they? Was this a reckless mistake or the best decision she ever made? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you think. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.